Hello guys. Welcome to Diablo the Primordial. This video is the continuation video after Rimuru Disappearance. So if you have not watched it, then please watch it. The link is in the description. And please check out my second channel Top Anime Sensei for the light novel of Tensei. So without any further delay, let's start. But before we start, please like, subscribe and press the bell icon so you don't miss the updates. And thus, a storm of great confusion would engulf the world. On just the first day of the Great War, major changes among the world's factions are about to occur. At the same time as the strategy was decided, Milim said that she is going to use Dragon Nova, her strongest magic. Under the cover of the extremely dangerous attack, indeed befitting to be called a mass extinction magic, she told me that she'll let me go. She once said that she wanted to show it to me, and Seal also has an interest in it, so I accepted her suggestion. I thought I was going to die. No, I'm serious. I wish that she mentioned what kind of magic it is. Milim doesn't boast this as her strongest magic for nothing. I stopped time, so I was safe, since I escaped right away, but Diablo was in a terrible situation since he lost half of his body. Oh dear, he's acting as if he's dying. What should I do with him? Geez. I can't make fun of Milim ever again. I now see her in a new light. But as the result, Milim made herself more trustworthy towards Lucia. Milim shot a Dragon Nova and killed the body which was pretending to be me, and retrieved it to Lucia. Then, in order to make her think that I'm dead, I cancelled Eternal Pain which had ensnared Lucia. In that way, Milim succeeded in making Lucia trust her as well as infiltrate into the enemy's stronghold. As I hide myself, waiting for Milim's signal, I slipped into the darkness with teleport. Well then, while staying somewhere calm, I begin to think about various things. The first is the change in Seal that I felt a while ago. About Eternal Pain too, but I believe that Ciel's ability has increased greatly. Yet, I'm more bothered about my miscalculations on Gobta's growth limit. Hey, don't you think that Gobta's rapid growth is a bit abnormal? How much has he surpassed your calculations? And, isn't the calculation deviation too extreme? That is what I'm worried about. Because up till recently, at the time when I still called her Raphael Sensei, it was rare for her predictions go awry. I mean, as far as I remember, the only mistake in Raphael Sensei's calculations was the nature of Veldora's attack. And yet, she incorrectly predicted Gobta's growth speed. Isn't this disappointing coming from Seal? No matter how much of a genius Gobta is, I wasn't convinced at all. Because I was so doubtful, I asked Seal, but that is, whilst performing the calculation, deeper information was detected. As a result, a large deviation has occurred. So I was informed. In other words, since Gobta's ability increased so much, conversely the accuracy fell. No, rather than that, isn't the fluctuation happening due to the appearance of her emotions? The idea flashed in my mind. This might not be a good example, but just like when taking a test, the more you check your answer, the more you question yourself. In other words, what Seal is feeling is none other than the emotion called anxiety. A human is a creature who makes mistakes. Why is that? It is because a human is an emotional creature. Machines never make mistakes, because they never feel anxiety. If a machine makes a mistake, the cause may be that there was an error during the input of the data or the machine is broken. As Seal evolved, she obtained emotions. It means that a perfect being has fallen into an imperfect state. Experiencing anxiety, she wavers, and so she made a mistake. Is this a degeneration? No. This is unmistakably an evolution. Seal, despite being an existence that had reached perfection, wished for emotions. A baby feels they're almighty whilst inside their mother's womb, but they lose that feeling as soon as they are born. Thus, they feel insecure and cry. Seal is the same as the newborn baby. From a perfect situation, like a perfect sphere, she had been transferred into a bigger container. The vessel was so big, that her own existence became indeterminate. Therefore, to fill that container, a large surge of emotion was produced. But I feel relieved because that container is me. The chipped container for her indeterminate form is my soul. And, because Seal was born inside of me, my heart is stable. The emotions are like waves, they fill the cracks of my heart and become small. Seal was bewildered as she hadn't produced a wave of emotion before, so it might take time before she becomes used to it. As for me, my uneasiness became tiny as my heart was filled. In other words, Seal felt the anxiety in my place. It is not a problem, so don't worry about it. Have confidence in yourself. You keep on analyzing even while in that state. If it's you, I'm sure you can arrive at the correct answer. Therefore, believe it. We complement each other, you're not alone. Master. Seal remained silent to my words. However, the waves of emotion became calm as my chipped heart was filled. Then, Seal also calmed down as her anxiety changed into relief. Yes, my lord. Everything will follow your heart's desires. Seal properly understood my words. And while hiding under the cover of darkness, she will be reflecting on her meaning of life. Velgrund flew into the sky with speed that holds up to the title of fastest. Her body feels light and her power seems to have increased. With a heavy heart, and a mind that is tangled, she thought to herself. In the first place, what the hell is that person? She, who is one of the strongest, a true dragon, was unable to so much as scratch him. An individual with a soul compatible with the dragon's element and a body that is comparable to the true dragons that stand at the summit of this world. And that individual, possessing such enormous energy, stood firmly while being capable of absorbing a true dragon. Moreover, two of them. Can such a being exist? No, it must exist. It is undeniable that such a being exists. However, for it to be a unique monster who was born from a collection of magic essences leaked from Veldora, by chance, is impossible. Even if she looked at herself right now, compared to before, her condition is more optimized and in better shape. She has a feeling that her energy levels has somehow increased. So in other words, that slime, who manifested her, has a container that simply surpasses the total amount of her energy. I can't believe it. Such a being, as far as I know, there's only one. She continued thinking. While continuing to fly around the continent at high speed. Her speed reached a dozen times the speed of sound and became a flying object which emitted extreme heat and without aiming to, blew away a flock of angels who crowded the sky. The soul corridor that bound her, was closed. There was no influence on her, that means, something happened to the person she bonded to. But, she didn't pay attention to that. Humph! That person wouldn't be killed so easily. What is he planning now? She just fleetingly thought about it. There is no point in worrying about it. In the first place, there is no need for her to worry about it, or so she thought. She is free right now. Even though she buried it in her deepest thoughts, she was still in a fog of doubt. She has been caught in the whirlpool of her own thoughts for a while now. The report made the executives of Tempest shudder. On the first day of the Great War, the angels' attacks had ended and the evening had come. The monsters had even prepared for an ongoing battle, but the angels had withdrawn by the time night fell. This is because for the light-attributed angels, they had an advantage under the light of the sun. As there is a need to eat, the loss of the energy is intense. For the monsters, a short time of peace is a blessing. Thus, it's the time for dinner. The report was brought by the people who returned at the time when the soldiers were taking their rest. In the control room established inside the labyrinth. The executives of Tempest, including the Guardian Lords, had gathered. Is it true that Rimuru-sama disappeared? Yes, that is correct. He received a direct hit of Milam-sama's Dragon Nova. To Benimaru's question, Testarossa responded. To that answer, silence descended to the room. Then Testarossa explained the situation in detail. Then, what did Diablo do? Where did that guy go? Benimaru asked while suppressing his anger. It is true that Diablo didn't participate in this meeting. There was a reason behind this. Diablo is the only subordinate who knows that Rimuru is alive. For this reason, Diablo can't explain why he failed to defend Rimuru even though he was there. Not seeing the reactions of the executives was regrettable for Diablo. Although that isn't important, he's concerned with it. Anyway, this much is necessary to conceal Rimuru's survival. That being the case, he decided that it would be a problem if he, who had survived, participated in the conference. Anyway, why didn't you protect Rimuru-sama? He predicted that question would be directed at him. Diablo figured that if he was in Benimaru and others' position, he surely wouldn't be able to forgive him even if he tore apart Rimuru's bodyguard. Because he thought so, he displayed his current state, where he had lost half of his body, to Testarossa and others who had rushed over at the time. And whilst healing himself, he departed from the site, leaving behind a message which said that he had left in order to observe Milam. As for the content, it was something along the lines of, I lost half of my body and thus shall not prove to be a useful combatant, I will be more useful for observing. Testa and Co. believed Diablo's explanation without any doubts, since Diablo's condition displayed that his current energy had decreased sharply. No, Testarossa seemed to doubt him a little, However, she was uncertain about her doubt. Therefore, she decided to accept Diablo's reasoning. By the way, what he meant by observation was that the strategy required him to pass information from Milim to Rimuru. Thus, Diablo continued as Rimuru's guard whilst under the cover of darkness. Testarossa let out a sigh and Diablo is performing an infiltration operation. He expressed regret towards his inability to protect Rimuru-sama, but because he received an order he can't even commit suicide. It seems Diablo's duty is to free Milim-sama from their control. She explained the story Diablo had told them. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And if you guys have not watched my earlier videos, then please watch them. The links are in the description. And please check out my other channel Top Anime Sensei for the light novel of Tensura. And don't forget to like, subscribe and press the bell icon so you don't miss the updates.